meeting somebody who we like and we are attracted to and we could consider potentially as a relationship, that is important, because it's quite difficult to have a relationship with yourself. But that is at most 50%. The other 50% is what we do ourselves. How we think about relationships, how we engage with other people, what happens when we start to relate with somebody. They tell me with total conviction, you can't help who you are attracted to. If people believe that you're attracted to somebody because that's how you are biologically. It is a natural phenomenon. You're attracted to the people who you are chemically drawn to. Well, my basic principle is that is not true. Of course, our natural inclination does affect and influence the kind of person we're drawn to, but it does not control it. And in fact, there is something called perception. We are sometimes attracted to people who are mildly screwed up because they are more interesting. Interesting people may be interesting for problematic reasons. Screwed up people are fascinating. They are always more interesting than normal people. Why is it that we find people, those who are unstable, to be more interesting at face value? This cartoon figure quite likes that dress until she sees the price tag and then cools off the idea. Why? If you're attracted to the kind of person who comes with a very heavy price tag, then it starts to look less attractive. Anybody who relates to this? Boring is the new exciting. If you meet someone and you say, my goodness, they're boring, that's a compliment. That means they're just normal. It means that they're not putting on some hyperactive show. It means that they're not all over the place and therefore endlessly interesting, but not necessarily very promising long-term partner.
What is normal?
Just take one look. 98% of the time, attraction happens when? On the first time you meet. What you first attracted to somebody is when you first meet them, obviously. That's why you talk to them. The problem is that at that point, attraction is not the same thing as it is on your fifth date. Would you go back to somebody 5 times? They would have to be giving you the signal that this is something which could last, something where there's mileage. Please stand up.
Woo!
Right, there's 2 boxes, yes?
Guess so.
Yeah, now, what colour is the top one?
Grey.
What colour is the bottom one?
White.
That anybody who's, for the first time seeing this, disagrees with this analysis? Yes?
I think it's all white, it's just on a shadow, no?
It's all white. What do you say? Actually, everybody is wrong. Please come forward. I'm going to do nothing but watch. Take your arm and stick it across the middle part which separates these 2 boxes. What colour is the bottom one? It's the same colour! They're both grey! There you are, you're just too smart. Anybody smart is not allowed to participate in this workshop. So, by the way, somebody would say, it is or it's not. It's either grey or it's white. How, if you put your arm there, does it change it? The answer is, it is an optical illusion. They are both grey, but because this is shaded, it looks somehow like it's different. When we meet somebody and we say, you're attractive, I'm saying you saw. What can be clearer than what your eyes see? Well, turns out our eyes don't always give us the right reading. They can throw us off unless you're super intelligent, in which case you'll never be fooled. And most of us are capable of being duped. Why we can't get no satisfaction? Why do men pursue women they have no intention of marrying? Answer: the same reason why dogs chase cars is they have no intention of driving. When we see someone and we get excited, we think, oh, I noticed that girl over there, she looks really interesting. What part of the brain is actually lighting up? The reward part of the brain that's getting us all excited, that motivates us to want to do something. The pleasure part of the brain doesn't know anything. It's sleeping. There's nothing to happen. All it is a belief, a hope of some kind of nice stuff. When you actually meet the person, that part of the brain that got you to go over to her has done its job. What part of the brain now kicks in? The part that actually has to live with the consequences. And you say, it doesn't match up. We can use our previous experience of knowing what works and doesn't, and not believe our reward center that tells us always to run again after the same thing that it wanted. And I'm going to go for something which actually makes me happy, not something my brain tricks me into thinking will make me happy. Would you consider it acceptable if on the first date I asked you a question as follows? I said, if we got married and we were on a boat together and there was only one lifeguard, would you let me have it? Let me ask you a less radical question. And is this acceptable on the first date? Would you like to be the mother of my children?
It depends.
You meet somebody, you like them. As a result of the fact that you like them, you choose to continue to see them. At some point, you go from liking them to loving them. And if that really goes well, you will end up living with them. Now you may say this is obvious, but I'll explain to you why some people get into trouble. You start out with yourself. You want to be happy. Hands up, who's ever dated somebody because they felt bad for the other person? You ever gone over to somebody and say, would you like to go on a date? I don't really fancy you, but I can see you're pretty miserable, so I'll feel the favor. You do that all the time. Well, I've already worked out who my date is for tonight. Understand, it's very unusual for someone to go on a date with somebody, not because they have any attraction to them or interest in them, but only because they want to help them. So it's all about art. But once you get to know somebody, you start to care about them, and it becomes less about making yourself happy, and you genuinely want to see that other person happy. And if that goes very well, you end up a couple. In which case you both look after each other, and it works hopefully very well. Connect. You meet somebody and you connect with them. You say, hi, I'm Yossi. And they say, hi, I'm hopefully Brittany. I think, not right. And what happens is you make a good connection, and if that goes well, you converge, you become a couple. You take your Facebook status down, and then if it goes very well and you converge and you become an item, I think is the official expression, you then end up with a commitment to stay that way. People can get stuck here or here. Who here thinks that men are commitment phobic? I want you to know this. Men are not commitment phobic. Nor are women. What it is they don't understand, and women sometimes don't understand either, how to transition from a point where you're kind of comfortable being with someone to the point where you actually form a permanent bond. And that is a transition which people get stuck on. Couples who are dating because they know, we all know, you're not kidding anybody, by the way. For a lasting relationship, we're not looking for someone just to have some fun with or to have a friendship with. Do you know this on J-Date? People that click, what are you looking for? Friendship. Who the hell are you lying to? Who on J-Date is looking for friendship? You want friendship? In London Zoo, you can become a friend of a panda. It costs you £3 a month. Nobody goes on J-Date for friendship. What are you talking about? There are only two kinds of people on J-Date. Those who are there for sex and those who are there for marriage. Everything else is a lie. Then absolutely no reason why you should not, once you feel you're in some kind of rhythm as a dating couple, to start talking about the things that matter. Don't wait until you're involved and then say, oops, I forgot to ask you whether you'd be chemically sterilized. You're with somebody, you're dating 4 times, and you said, oh, by the way, I just booked a holiday to Greece, you want to come with? Why did you ask her, you idiot? You just booked a holiday for only 4 days. What do you mean, only 4 days? You are dating or you're not? He went and organised for $10,000 worth of refurbishments to his flat. He's dating someone for like 2 months, and she's saying, 1 second, am I or am I not? If this is going to happen, I'm going to be part of it. Why are you not talking about it? Or relocation. Oh, I'm moving to Manchester, I'm moving to Zurich, I'm moving to Cologne. 1 second, everything. What? I've been dating for the past 2 months. Well, we're not a couple yet, nobody's got married, there's no ring. I'm thinking, what are you talking about? Think as a couple. And of course, you change your career. Oh, by the way, I quit my job. Once you've been with somebody 3 times, you owe them an explanation. End of. You can't change your partner, so don't try. Don't get involved with someone in order to change them. Even if you need a tune-up or an entire paint job, it's not for you to do it. So here is an example of what it feels like when you're being continuously told what's wrong with you. This is what some women think is their job in life. So their job is to fix the guy. The problem is that he subscribes to that. Can I tell you a secret here? This is for women, so men know this already. Women. We men know the faults we have. We just don't bloody care. Okay? Now, I just said this to the women. Is there a single man who disagrees with that statement? Okay, I think that's confirmed then. If he is content or she is content with his or her flaws, if we want to be with them, we've got to be content with them too. If we are still having difficulty with that thing, I really like the guy, but, and if he is going to have me in his life, he is going to have to X, then should I stay or should I go? Should I stay or should I go now? Should I stay or should I go? So let's get the movement going here. If you don't like it, leave. And if you're not willing to leave, then just shut up. You wouldn't go into a church and try and convert the parishioners to Islam. You wouldn't go into a country and western bar and play 50 Cent. Don't go into somebody's life and try to change them. It won't work. You're wasting your time. I am a perfect example. I've never changed. Who the hell asked you to be a martyr? Don't carry so many rocks. Doesn't mean never ever do something kind, but understand that there's a difference between giving in a relationship and carrying rocks. Carrying rocks are where you don't want to do it, you're not happy about doing it, you don't have any joy in doing it, you do it because you think if you are a martyr, if you have self-sacrifice, then you're going to earn the right to happiness. No, you will not.